And we're live. We're live. We're live. So what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Hey, a special edition of Hits and Heels. I know y'all are not used to seeing Hits and Heels on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock, but hey, it's Women's Herstory Month. I say herstory because it's not history; it's Her Story Month, Women's History Month. And so I have a great guest that I wanted to bring on, and I did not. I'm booked all the way up until like April or May or something like, and I did not want to wait that long to bring her on because she has trailblazed and she has created history. So we have Miss Tiffany Massey on tonight. She is the first African American athletic director of a DEI. If you don't know what DEI is a diversity, equity, inclusion. And so if some of you don't know about DEI, there are a of schools like Alabama and Florida, I believe, that have kind of gotten rid of their DEI programs. And so there are some people that are asking African Americans to not attend those schools. So normally I don't do any type of controversy. That's all I'm going to say about that. But that's just how important she is to the University of Kentucky and where we have gone as African Americans, especially with her being the absolute first. Okay. And she's also a purple. So I wanted to shout her out because my husband is a Bowling Green. She is a purple, once a purple, always a purple, and all that thing. So shout out to my husband and to Tiffany on being Bowling Green Purples. So I don't know if you guys know, my son attends a University of Kentucky. My husband played football at Kentucky. My son is now playing football at Kentucky. He's number 14. He's a playing safety. And so Kentucky, the University of Kentucky is kind of near and dear to my heart. We live here in Lexington and we bleed blue. So it is just easy to be able to get someone like Tiffany, who is the first, and y'all gonna keep hearing me say the absolute first athletic director, associate athletic director as a female, as a Black female at the University of Kentucky. Tiffany, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone. I am extremely honored, and I don't take this opportunity lightly. I appreciate you, Terry. I'll shout out my husband for putting it all over social media and causing other people to see.
I'm getting ready to share it myself.
To see and just appreciate, I guess, the history that was made when I was announced that I would be promoted to associate athletic director in the athletic department at the University of Kentucky.
I think I'm gonna bring us up a little bit closer. I love it. So tell us the history. So I know you attended the University of Kentucky. I think you got your first degree from Kentucky, correct?
Yes. So believe it or
So how
not,
did you transition from as a student to becoming an employee at Kentucky?
um, I never envisioned myself working in athletics. I was always around athletics. I actually was an health administration major and graduated with a Bachelor of Health Science degree from UK long time ago, and went on to pursue an MBA and thought I would do healthcare administration. Was working at the community college, believe it or not, and started advising first year freshmen, transfer students, and did that for about 5 years. Had interviewed for a position on UK's campus in what is now the CARES office, and was not selected for the position, but was asked if my resume could be passed on to athletics. And if I had ever thought about advising athletes. Well, if anyone or those who do know me, they know that I will rise to any challenge. I'm a driven individual, extremely passionate about helping others. And so I said, sure, I'll interview for that. Bob Bradley, and most athletes who have come through University of Kentucky know Bob Bradley. He interviewed me. We talked for about 2 hours. He called me the next day and told me I had the job. So that is actually how I got into collegiate athletics as an advisor. And so I started off advising. I had swimming and diving. I work with the rifle team, and I work with our women's tennis team, and did that for a little while until um, Coach Matthew Mitchell requested a change as far as advising his players. He wanted someone who they could relate to and someone who would also be a mentor. And so in 2011, I was asked to start advising the women's basketball team. So that's how I started working with women's basketball and did that for I can't even remember how long, until 2020, and was asked after doing leadership development outside through Leadership Lexington. I created a mentoring program for marginalized student athletes that paired them with professionals of color within the community, because I noticed in conversations with our athletes
Mm.
that they struggled with athletic identity and understanding who they were outside of their sport. And so I thought it was extremely important that they realize that they are more than athletes. And so we started looking at their careers and tried to pair them with professionals in the community. And the entire time, people were watching me work, basically, noticing my leadership, noticing me taking initiative, noticing me being a continuous learner and positioning myself for different opportunities. And so basically, when the opportunity presented itself, I was prepared and I accepted the position to become the assistant AD. And then 3 years later, was asked and promoted to associate.
I love it. I love it. So we're having some technical difficulties. It looks like we'll keep going in and out, but we're just gonna keep it moving. So, so I love how, again, you put yourself out there, because a lot of times when we're in those positions, a lot of times we get we're intimidating to people as Black women. Um, where do you see yourself taking it to the next level, or what is the next level as far as where you're going to take the whole DEI in at the University of Kentucky? Like, where do you see that going now that you're in it?
Well, that's really constantly evolving, honestly, with everything that is going on. And so you kind of pay attention, but the main thing is to continue to do the work, continue to make sure that we are providing an environment where everyone feels like they belong and they're supported, and the resources are provided to everyone to make sure that they feel like they can be successful. That is the goal. And I appreciate it. It is challenging. It is challenging. I have a wonderful support system. And so that's what I will continue to do. It's just about doing the work. Um, and I will continue to do the work. I don't know any other way to go about my life. I want to help people. I am passionate about helping people. That is why I believe that I'm in the position. I'm a person of faith, and so I believe that God led me to this position, and I will continue to do
Mm.
this position until God says otherwise.
Oh, I love it. So it's got to be definitely difficult with like the transfer portal, and then you have the NIL, and you have all you have to kind of foster into the athletic program. Your job has got to be very, very difficult right now. What has been your biggest challenges so far?
Honestly, just I think anybody in collegiate athletics will speak to just it's changing at such a rapid pace. And so it's hard to sometimes keep up. And so there's a thing called the D1 ticker. So I'm reading that. Our athletic department does a great job of keeping us informed. And when I say us, I mean staff and senior administrators informed. And so you just try to pay attention. You still try to build relationships. I believe is key. Building relationships is key, uh,
Yes.
and making people know that you care, and you're there to support their journey and to help them be holistic, successful citizens post collegiate career, whether that be professionally or if they go out and become go in the working world, or they go on to grad school, because we have off, and I mean we have all three tracks, and they're on the Kentucky Road and doing what we call 4 for 40, because we want to prepare them for 40 years
For
post.
40
And
years
so,
afterwards. Absolutely.
that is the goal, and um, that doesn't shift for me no matter what's going on. That never shifts for me. That is the goal, and not just our student athletes, but other members of the athletic department. Like, I'm in that position for the athletic department.
So are there any steps that you particular are doing, or the organization itself is doing as far as helping with more recruiting of more African Americans? I mean, you're the first. So, are there is there anything in place where are they just more intentional with maybe getting more African American people in the administrative positions? I know it's always been hard, no matter across the board, wherever, even in corporate America. I mean, I work at Toyota, and there's not a lot of people at the top in the administrative positions or in the senior management positions. And so that's why I really just wanted to talk to you, because this has got to just be, I just can't imagine trailblazing this, because you have no one that you can really mentor. You found a mentor that's outside of Kentucky that maybe you can kind of talk to, or whatever, that's kind of been there? Because there aren't a lot of y'all.
Actually, you know what? I'm a part of a wonderful leadership group through the SEC called the SEC Opportunity Forum. And it has administrators from marginalized communities. And so I was
Good.
actually just with them this past week in Nashville at the men's basketball tournament. And so you're able to have conversations with them. My cohort, we're extremely, extremely close. And because of the cohort, we get to hear from ADs, we get to hear from presidents. We've gotten the opportunity to hear from commissioners, not only our own commissioner in the SEC, but also the commissioner of the SWAC. Met with an AD at Tennessee State University this past week, and so you have those conversations and you speak with them and you learn about their journey and the challenges that they faced and how they've overcome. And then you just reach out to other people who are in your seat, even if they're not the first. Being a person of color
Mm-hmm.
is a reason to use them as a resource, because you're able to relate to them. And then also other administrators who understand the importance um, of a diverse workforce, an inclusive workforce. And so that's been extremely helpful. And then there are mentors within the athletic department who also support me as well.
I love it. Oh, I love it. So, how will you measure your success? Do you have something that helps you to measure that you're going in the right direction, or what does that look like to you? What does the success look like for you?
You That is a good question. As I've gotten older, my definition of success honestly has changed. I've never been a person to chase titles um, or status. I am a person who chases making an impact, and so success to me has been those who I have worked with and or mentored, and they're reaching back out, and I get to watch them be successful. And I tease people, on your birthday you're celebrating and everyone shouts you out. And a lot of people come through on that day for me and typically explain what I've meant to them and how important I am to them
What you've
on their
done?
journey. Yes, and so that is what makes me most proud, honestly, and success.
Hmm.
At the end of my life, I hope that people are saying amazing things about the legacy that I have left behind. That honestly is success to me.
Oh, good stuff. And what do you want your legacy to be?
That I was a good human being, that I had a kind heart, that I was of service to others. Um, that's what I would want my legacy to be.
But but you're already that person. So your legacy is already here. Because that's
Thank
already
you.
you. Like you're
Thank
so
you.
approachable. Like I just love just how approachable you were when because you have a title. So be able to just be able to walk up to you and talk to you and just how approachable you was. I just so appreciated that just so much. And and to me that was a testament of who you were because I've dealt with people that were unapproachable. And
Mhm.
you kind of just okay, well you just kind of just blow them off and you speak and you just keep it moving. But I just loved how approachable you were. And that to me just showed exactly how you were. So tell me, how will you engage student athletes in conversations about DEI? Like what
Um,
do those conversations sound like with some of the student athletes?
so some of the conversations that happened, number one, you try to see if they're engaged in what's going on, right? You asking, are they aware of what's going on? Initially, when the division was founded, we had of course, remember this is during COVID, and so we had a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
Zoom conversations. It was very honest and raw because there were a lot of feelings going on at that time, a lot of emotions. So we've been sounding boards. There's an entire committee. So within the division, there's a diversity advocacy committee that's made up of different people within the athletic department. And the students would reach out. Now we've had game nights, we've had kickball games. There's a bowling event coming up that allows them the opportunity. And what we've learned is that they just want the opportunity to have a good time outside of their sport. Um, they don't always want to talk about the heavy stuff, and
Mm,
so we allow them the space to be who they want to be in that moment, and then also offer support if they want to venture into the other areas, such as what's going on with DEI in the country.
gotcha.
But
And
they're
sometimes
starting to pay attention to that because some athletes around the country have spoken up, and
mhm.
so we're just watching as well.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I really was surprised when I saw I think it was Alabama and Florida where they stood out the most to me, where they got rid of their DEI departments, um, or there was some type of law that was changed that rescinded, I think, something with DEI, and I was just dumbfounded that like how does that make sense to people? I mean, we've always had to have there's a reason why we've had to have affirmative action in the past. And I know that a lot of affirmative action things have gone away, but they've gotten replaced with the DEI as opposed to the affirmative action. They just call it differently now. So have you had a time, has there ever been a time where you've had any pushback where there was maybe something that you felt like was really important and needed to be implemented, but maybe got a little bit of pushback from?
No, it's been supported.
I
You know,
love it.
it was created with support in mind.
I love it.
And so I haven't, our president has spoken out in support of DEI initiatives, and hopefully, people will continue to get a better understanding. It encompasses a broad array of things. It's not just race. It's gender.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
it's disability access. It's veterans.
Mhm.
It's very broad. Um, and so again, it's a lack of understanding, and so hopefully people will continue to just seek to understand, seek to do no harm, um, and uplift. I mean, we are a better society because we are a diverse society, and diversity of thought, all of it.
Yeah, but sometimes it's still sometimes that still doesn't make it's common sense to us because we always have had to live it as Black people. But sometimes it's just not common sense on some things. Where if somebody if somebody wants to be more involved with DEI, and I think that a lot of because I think you just got a certification in it, and is the certification a new program that Kentucky had, or is it something that they've had for a while?
They've had it for a little while. Kentucky has been offering certifications, and my point, I mean, I have 2 master's degrees and I have 2 certifications, but again, I did that because I always want to be aware and knowledgeable. And again, the space is constantly changing. And so if people, depending on what they want to do or people want to do, you can get a certificate. There's actually even a doctoral program with an emphasis in DEI. I'm not sure if that changes later. I have no idea. But right now, it is definitely available at the University of Kentucky. But not just within athletics, like there are still DEI officers on campus. I partner a lot and collab with the MLK Center as we continue to try to grow and nurture that relationship, because we want our student athletes to realize that there are more resources available outside the athletic department. And so, trying to continue to work and grow there, and make sure to emphasize the different initiatives that campus does for students, and make sure that our student athletes see those initiatives as well. But if they want to get involved in the space, it's literally taking the time to stop by, whether that be my office or really any of the offices on campus.
Okay. So you mentioned collaboration with other organizations outside of athletics. So what are some of the main organizations that are really, really key with as far as helping you collaborate and being able to help the student athletes?
Well, the MLK Center specifically on campus
Okay.
is the who I have worked with the most. I am on the steering committee of the Leadership Lexington, which is through Commerce Lexington. And recently, well, probably about a month or so ago, they were on campus and they had a student athlete led panel, which I put together and also facilitated the discussion to give people an opportunity, leaders in the city, the opportunity to see our student athletes in a different light as people, which is why, like, my mentoring program is called the Human Athlete Project, because they are human beings. And often people don't realize that. And so it's just putting them in front of people. The mentor program, again, tying them with mentors within the community. And then, like I said, making sure to highlight the initiatives on campus. A SAC meeting, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee meeting, was held at the Lyric Theater. That was in collaboration with our Student Athlete Experience Division. Again, exposing them to a historical landmark in Lexington, Kentucky. So they got to learn about that. And so that's how we work within the athletic department. And again, that was the Student Athlete Division, Experience Division, in partnership with the Diversity Advocacy Committee to house that at the Lyric Theater, one of their meetings. So people are doing different things, exposing our student athletes to different things and different experiences. We've offered tours of the Freedom Center in Cincinnati. Before, there's a Black Student Athlete Summit that is held every year, and we cover the expenses for our student athletes to go. And this year it's in LA in May, and it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for anybody to learn about the Black student athlete experience across the United States. And so this year, 5 of our student athletes are going, and so they're looking forward to that experience.
Okay. So so I have a couple of questions. My cousin Sam Watson is on, and he said that he's enjoying the show. And then I think he said, "Are you at liberty to comment on the UK women moving forward in the coaching change?" But I don't think we're at that. Y'all aren't at that level yet. So yeah. So sorry, Mr. Brown. We're not going to discuss that one today. But thank you for being on, and thank you for your questions. So tell me more about your mentorship program. That sounds really, really good. And is there anyone outside of athletics that can be involved with that, or do you need other people to kind of help and spearhead with that? Tell us more about your mentorship program.
So it's called the Human Athlete Project. And what was happening when I was an academic advisor, the student athletes would come and I would ask them, aside from your sport, what do you want to do? And sometimes they would just struggle to come up with what they wanted to do. And then the other piece, they would always say, where are the people of color? And understanding that a lot of student athletes are not from Lexington. And so they would ask, where are all the professionals of color? And I said, they're here. They're definitely here. And so from that, and a bunch of conversations, I created what is called the Human Athlete Project with the goal. It was twofold, really, to expose student athletes to professionals of color within the city of Lexington. And the other piece was Lexington has a retention problem with retaining people of color once they graduate. And so I wanted to also potentially close that gap. And so if I could expose athletes to other people in the community that look like them, and offer them a bigger community outside the athletic department community, that even if they go on and play professionally in their sport, that eventually they might want to come back to Lexington to work.
Okay.
And so that was the goal, and is the goal. It's completely voluntary. And so, if there are no student athletes that are interested in a semester, then we don't have any interested in the semester. And so I typically reach out to our academic advisors. I try to do it in the fall to start in the spring semesters. And it varies per semester how many athletes will have paired up. But that's really, and it has been professionals in the community. I've had wonderful, wonderful mentors that have been affiliated with the program, and I'm extremely gracious and grateful to them for volunteering their time and resource to spend time with the athletes.
Oh yeah, because there are definitely some powerful people here in Lexington. So Nicole Kyle said that you're an amazing lady and you're doing great things and she loves you. I thought that was so sweet.
Extremely sweet. Thank you.
So outside of your mentorship program, what do you do for fun? Because you're always at work. So are you really, really into like the sports and stuff? Because I'm a sports buff. Like I could be around sports like 24/7. But since you kind of because you weren't an athlete, right? So you weren't an athlete. So it's a little bit different than being a student athlete and then coming in. So how do you manage have you learned to like the sports, or how do you just manage just the part? Because I always see you at a game.
I love sports. I have always loved sports. When I was a freshman at UK, I stayed in Blazer Hall, and I was on the third floor with the women's basketball team. The second floor was the volleyball players. And so I've always been around it. My best friend, she played volleyball at Kentucky. Another best friend, he played baseball at Kentucky. I'm obviously married to a former football player. And so I love sports. I love everything about it. I love the camaraderie. I love what it teaches. I'm at all the women's basketball games because I am the sport administrator over the women's basketball program. And so I travel and you will see me at every game. But we're also at other sporting events as well as time permits. I support every single Wildcat. I want every single Wildcat to win. And so I love it. I love being around it. I watch it when I'm not at the games. I'm watching sports on TV. I'm a collegiate football fan more than I'm an NFL fan. Okay. But I had a cousin play in the NFL, and so I love it. I love all of it.
So you're from Bowling Green. Who are you related? Who are you related to? The fans?
You know what? I might be related to the Ferrence.
Who was your cousin that played in the NFL?
Oh, he's from Louisville. His name is CJ Spillman.
Okay, gotcha. I know him. Okay.
He's from Louisville. But my mom is Shauna is her name. Her maiden name is Smith. Um, so I don't know if anybody would know would know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay. It's interesting to know because I know Bowling Green just has just from being married to my husband, just learning about the history of Bowling Green and their whole athletic program is just
oh yeah.
unbelievable. It's just unbelievable because they are diehard with their sports program. They do not play when it comes to their sports
At
program.
all,
And
at
I
all.
love that. I love it. I love the
Yeah.
culture that they have
Yeah, we
with.
went to state football when I was in high school. Our
Mhm.
football team went to state, so my friends played on those teams, and track and basketball. Whenever we played Warren Central, I mean, they actually just lost. Bowling Green lost against Warren Central, but it's always a big rivalry game. And so yeah, I'm a purple through and through, just like I'm a Wildcat through and through.
Yeah, my husband is the same way. He's a purple and he's a Wildcat through and through. Now, this is a great question from Mr. Brown. He said, have you had a conversation with UK professor Gerald Smith regarding your endeavors? He has been instrumental in developing interest in your field. Is he
I
someone?
I have not, but I have heard wonderful things about him for sure.
Okay, good. Well, that might be a great connection that you might have. I love when Mr. Brown comes on because he's one of those people that's really has a real great hand on the sports in Lexington, and he
Mm-hmm.
kind of knows everybody and
He knows
he
everything.
he knows everything about sport. Yeah, oh yeah, he brings up people that he's a really good resource that we have because I'm on the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, and he's a great resource for me with that because of I don't know, I'm not from Lexington, so I don't know who they are, but I was blessed to be able to be on their committee to be able to get their to get that whole program off. So okay, so let's
Did
talk the
I answer
personal
your question
stuff.
did I answer your question about what I do for fun? I think I still focused on work.
I think you still focused on work. I think you did. Sis, I think you still focused on work. I think you
I
still focused
love
on
to
work. What do you do?
so I'm really close with my family. I'm one of four girls. I spend time with them when I can, but I love to travel and have been fortunate and blessed to be able to do that. I write when I can. Extremely passionate about writing. Love listening to music. So that's probably and spending time with my friends when I can. That's what I like to do for fun.
Okay. Now you have how many children? Because you got some bonus children, and where are they all at?
Okay, so I have a son, and then I have two bonus daughters. My son is a teacher and a football coach at Danville. Uh,
Oh, okay. He's under Coach Parks.
he
Okay.
is, and he was at Dunbar before that.
For that. Okay.
And then my oldest bonus daughter is a student in college. She's a freshman, and she is doing absolutely wonderful.
Is she at UK? Is she at Kentucky?
She is not at Kentucky. She's at the school up the road.
Oh wow.
But extremely
Oh
proud
wow.
of her.
Okay.
She's thriving, and she's just grown so much. So we are just extremely proud of her growth, and just it's been fun to watch her evolve as a person, and just
Oh, and as a beautiful young woman, yes, I'm familiar with her. Yes.
and
And
then our
how's the
youngest
baby?
is in elementary school, and she's sleeping right now. So
Okay. Well, we're a blended family, so my heart is definitely with blended families. It's one. I think being a stepmom has been one of the hardest things that I've been able to. That's in my life, but I absolutely love my baby. You can't nobody. I'll fight anybody over my baby any day. So I definitely get that. And my daughter's in higher ed too. She had got both of her undergrad and masters at EKU. Then she went to left me and went to Western Illinois University, and then UIC. So she lives in Chicago, and now she's the assistant director of housing and auxiliary services for Governor State University. She's presently in her doctorate program.
Nice. My son is he graduated from EKU as well, and
Okay.
he's in grad school now, and so he's doing really, really well. He is like me in the aspect that he likes to help people. He loves to help students, and so he has been awarded 2 like Teacher of the Month.
Oh, that's good stuff.
So extremely proud of him. Extremely proud of him.
Well, we really need males, period, in the school system for our young men. So it's definitely that he went that. He said, Tiffany, your love of sports was encouraged by a family member. Where was your love for sports encouraged? Because she went to Bowling Green High.
So my sisters ran track, my cousins played football, but honestly, I would say my mother, because grew up watching the Lakers and the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
During their heyday, Magic Johnson was my favorite NBA player, and so that's where
I'm a Laker fan. I've always been a Laker fan.
Oh, same. Yeah, I mean, same. Since I was probably like 5, so that's where my love of sports came from. Like you said, just Bowling Green High. We had great sports teams, and so when you go to a great high school,
it's hard not. Yeah, it's hard not to when you go to high school, and they're always
successful athletes come through Bowling Green High, and so yeah, I love sports.
Okay, so this must be your mom.
That is definitely my mother.
Hey, Mom. And congratulations for raising an absolutely fantastic daughter. I think sometimes moms don't get the credit that they do, because obviously you got to have, you have great parents create great children.
Shout out to mother. Shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom. Absolutely. So let me see. I met your husband. I think he and my husband were coaching at Bryan Station together when I first met your husband. Okay. And I love he's always traveling somewhere. I know he's a Bucks fan, or does he just like he knows somebody that? Well, he knows. I always see him either Miami, Tampa Bay. I'd be like, George. And then I just seen him at the LSU game not too long ago with the girls game, and he met Shaq.
He did. So he traveled with me to the LSU game, but he is a huge Bucks fan. Yeah. And he knows everybody. And so
yeah, he knows everybody.
I tease him because I call him the mayor, because he just does not meet a stranger. We have traveled to different places, and I kid you not, he knows. We were in New Orleans and he knew somebody. It's just everybody loves that man.
I love it, because that's the same way with my husband as well. We were in Vegas or at the airport, or we're always someplace and we running into someone that knows him, and it is hilarious. And I think the biggest thing is that now he's coaching. He's been coaching so long. Now he's coaching the children of the players that he coached back in the day, and it is so funny that, because they're like seeking him out, especially like for baseball. Mm-hmm. I think on his 13U team, he's got maybe 4 parents that he coached them in high school, and they have their kids playing on the travel team. So I have had various ones on my podcast to discuss NIL transfer portal, and has been the 2 chief initiative to tilt college sports. Your thoughts on these too much talked about initiatives? So what do you think about the NIL and the transfer?
You don't have anything to add that hasn't already been said. Here. The transfer portal is here. NIL is here. I do believe that you have to be able to adjust and adapt to what is happening in the world of college sports. And so that's just what you do. If you want to be successful, you have to.
You just have to adapt.
Yeah, you have to.
You just have to adapt, or as a coach, you just give it up because you can't adapt.
That,
you retire because you can't adapt.
whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you know,
Yeah.
if you're, you know, if you don't want to adapt, then it's time to retire.
Yeah.
Because it's here and there's nothing that you can really do about it.
Yes.
Because even I think a lot of people don't really understand, because it's getting ready to come to high school. NIL is coming to high school here in Kentucky, and I you know, we have no idea what that's going to look like, or what that means, or how to navigate it, because it's all new. We're all still figuring out, and you all, even as administrators, I tell people all the time too, that even the administrators and the coaches at these schools, if you have a student athlete, they're still trying to figure it out themselves, because it's still so new. This isn't something that's been going on for 10, 15 years. This is something that this is only the second year.
Yeah, and so it will continue to do what it does. And like I said, you just have to be able to adapt. And I think leadership and great leaders are great at adapting.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. So were you shocked when Nick Saban retired?
Yeah, I was shocked, actually. I was shocked. I guess I don't know if shock's really the word, because I was shocked, but not necessarily surprised, if you can be
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
For a bunch of reasons. He had been doing it a long time, successful, extremely successful, older. And again, college athletics has changed a lot. And so shocked, but not necessarily surprised.
Yeah, I think I saw something the other day, and he said that when his wife mentioned to him, because she said she normally handles, during the visit, she normally handles the moms. And she said when all the moms were like, okay, well, how much is our son getting paid? She was like, what in the world? What happened to the development? And, you know, and so that has got to be really, really difficult. Again, I don't know if I coach football, and I coach women, and I coach middle school, but I have no desire to ever want to coach college, because I just don't think that I would be able to navigate through that whole thing with, you know, I mean, how do you compete with that? I mean, and then there's that unrealistic part of it where kids think that they're better than they are, and they're not. And so then now you have to deal with that, with that reality part of it, because now you're getting cussed out by parents, and, you know, and players, and they're threatening to leave and transfer, and, you know, because of that, they're not getting the playing time that they think that they should be getting, or they're not getting the money that they think they should be getting. But you're not them, you're not him, or you're not her. I mean, like I said, he brought up the girls basketball, and I went and watched the girls game, and there was a couple girls that was on there, and I was like, I just took a deep breath, and I'm like, okay, they were a 5-star, you know, but I'm not seeing that, right? And so that definitely has got to be really difficult for coaches. And then especially when you get into a position where your job is on the line, because now you're dependent on these kids to come in and perform, and they look good on paper, or they look good on the video, or they look good. They had great stats in high school, and they met all the measurables, but then when they get on campus, they're not them. They don't have they don't have the work ethic, or they don't have, there's just something missing, that, you know, that there was no way for you to pinpoint that they were missing that until you got them on campus. And so that has got to be just one of the hardest things to do as a coach. And so I would never want to be in that position. And my hat's off to all the coaches and assistant coaches, because their job is hard, because you're trying to keep your job, and then you're trying to win at the same time. And so trying to put that all together is a definitely difficult task. And then it's got to be even more difficult as administrators, because you're looking at it from the outside in. You're not the ones recruiting them. You're not, you know, you're putting it in the hands of the coaches to do their job, and you still got to hold them to a level of accountability. If they're the ones recruiting them, well, you're the ones recruiting them. If they're not coming in and doing what they need to do, you recruited them. So that's so hard. I don't know how y'all do. When I tell you, that has got to be the hardest job, and got to be so stressful. I don't know. So how do you manage that part of it?
You know, I'm with my sport. I am here to support in any way that I can, and then to deliver the mission and message of the athletic director, and support the athletic department. But you just offer encouragement when you can, and listen, and challenge, and try to help in whatever way they see fit. Coaching it is tough, but any job has is
Oh
tough.
yeah, it has its challenges. Yes,
I
ma'am.
think there are special people. I think it takes
Yes,
a special person to be a coach, and
I
I
agree.
I admire coaches, because everything you said is very true. It's a um, tough
It's tough on
job.
my level, and I'm on the middle school level. And then I coach women tackle football, and we just take what we can get because there's not a whole lot of women that are willing to put on some pads and get hit and to hit. So it is very difficult. And then we're pay to play, so now it's even more difficult because now you're coming out of your pocket to play. You're not even getting paid. So
But I
um,
think I think coaches enjoy it because it's still rewarding. Those who continue to do
oh,
it,
yes. For those
rewarding
kids and
and
those students, athletes
impactful,
that you really can impact.
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
For sure.
Yes. I think that's probably the most rewarding for me is seeing players and athletes that I've coached, 10, 15 years ago. And then I see them on the street and they still want to give me hugs and love and introduce me to their children now. And then they tell me that how much of an impact that it was. There's nothing more rewarding than that. It absolutely isn't. Mr. Brown bringing up Louisville. Mr. Brown, what are we talking about with Louisville? He said he must. Oh, and he bringing up Louisville, and I guess that's what it is too. How do you come back from that? Like a situation with Louisville had. When you hire a coach, it just doesn't work out, and then now you're back at square one again, and now you're having to look in the hiring process again. And in this time of the year, I wouldn't. It would be hard to even with the women's coaching program you guys have. It would be hard to hire someone right now until after the tournament is over.
Well, I don't hire or fire anybody.
Thank goodness, right?
That is not my
Thank
responsibility
goodness, right?
at all. So I think for ads who are in that position, I'm sure it's tough,
It's
and
difficult.
they want to do the best and make the best decision. So they go into it thinking that way, and leading that way. So, but I have no idea, because I don't do it.
Girl, and so you are so lucky that you don't have to be in that position, because I think that right there would be like, okay, I gotta find me something else, because I don't want to fire people, because sometimes I'm looking at it from my point of view, and I'm like, they don't deserve to be fired because it's the players. It's the players. They're not doing what they're needing to do, and so that would just be really difficult for me. But I'm glad that you don't have to be in that position, because I wouldn't want you to be in that position to have to,
Do
because
not.
that would be really difficult.
Mhm.
So okay, so if a position like that came open, would you be open to it? And then you are in a position where you're having to hire and fire.
I am the way my career has shaped out, and I tell this story often, um, or I don't tell it often, but
I love him
I I have been fortunate enough that positions have come to me because of the work I
that you put in. Yes.
am doing. And so God has led me to every single position in my career has been led by God. And so the way I answer that is I'm open to anything that God has for me, and
Okay.
whatever that looks like. I did
Got
not
you.
see myself as an associate athletic director. I never envisioned that for my life, but here I
Right. But here you are.
am. So I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely grateful to the AD for seeing it
Oh,
in me,
absolutely.
and not only him, but
Definitely a big shout out to him.
my supervisor and others who have supported me. Ray Oliver, I call him Coach Rock or Rock.
Yeah.
Rachel Baker, Jason Cummins before he left at the athletic department. So there have been a lot of people who have championed me, and advocated on my behalf and spoke my name in rooms when I hadn't been in the room.
Absolutely. That is so important.
So I'm grateful to everybody, every single person that has ever poured into me, and spoke life into me, from my grandmother, my mother's mom, my aunties, my mother, my sisters, my son. I'm a better human being because of my son, George Massey, who hypes me up.
He is your hype man, honey. I love it.
He hypes me
Because I think he's the one that I saw his post. It was his
saw
post.
his post. He is
Yes,
the
that he was like, hey, I want to shout out, they're not gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna shout out my wife, who was the first. I said, oh, okay. Because I didn't know.
For sure. So he will highlight me and support me and scream my name from the rooftops and let people know that he thinks I'm an amazing human being. And so I'm grateful. My sisters, so just extremely grateful and fortunate. My friends have all championed me, and I'm just surrounded by really, really, really great people.
Good stuff. Okay, well, is there anything publicly that you wanted to just say that you haven't had that chance to say?
And about
anything.
It
don't have to be related to anything.
I really want to. So I have challenged myself. This is my year of saying yes, and so I have challenged myself to do more. Hence, why I say yes to your podcast.
Okay.
I would encourage us, specifically Black women, to tell our stories more, to share. And it took George Massey shouting me out. And I recently I sat on a panel, an Empower Her panel. A friend reached out and said, Tiffany, other people need to know your story.
Absolutely. That's why I asked you to be on.
And so I just challenge us to share our stories. I think we are powerful. I think we help each other when we share our stories. I was a teenage mother. I had my child at 17 years old. And so most people don't know that. And again, here I am in a seat that people would not have
guessed that you would have been
in. And so I just think we should tell our stories. And that didn't stop me. I graduated. I had a full ride to several universities and chose UK. I, had a wonderful GPA, great support system. My son is thriving. I would argue that I am thriving in life, and so I just think we should share our stories.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that was the whole reason why I even started a podcast, was because number one, because I'm a female football coach, which we don't exist at all. And so I just wanted to be able to tell the story. But then my podcast has just kind of evolved into well, I'm not the only one that has a great story. And so now I seek out people like you, because before I was kind of shy about, about asking, because, you don't want the rejection. But now it's funny how everybody I don't think there's anybody that I've asked that have told me no.
That is so good. And I'm grateful to be on here. It helps me. And so hopefully we are helping.
Absolutely. That will help somebody else, that there'll be someone else that wants to come on. Again, today was a special day because I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to bring you on until May, but hey, I don't have a problem with, if we can find a day that we can add, I don't have a problem with adding a day if someone wants to come on and tell their story. This is what it's all about. Again, it helps me, and I love hearing other women's stories, especially when we're able to just put our voice out there, to Again, uplift. I think I'm doing a conference this Saturday, and I think it's called Uplift something or whatever. And I'm asked to speak, and which has shocked me, but I don't know why I'm shocked, because everybody's like, you're doing everything. But I'm putting myself out there. That's what I've been doing too. I've just kind of
Same.
been putting myself out there
The
because
same.
I want to be impactful. I want to be again, I want to leave that legacy where, you know what, Terry Bryant, just her running her mouth inspired me to do, whatever, or whether it's to start a podcast, or whether it's to, like you said, you're a writer, to write a book. I can't wait until I get to the point where I'm able to write my book. I got several books that I want to talk about. Of course, I want to talk about co-parenting, which is huge for me. And, I want to talk about the new rules of sports parenting. Like, I think we're kind of missing the boat on that, because I coach in the middle school, I coach track, and
Mhm.
some of the parents are not getting it right, and they're messing up their child's opportunity to
Mhm.
get a scholarship to the next level, because they don't understand that coaches recruit the whole family.
They do.
And
They
so, so that's what I really bought my, well, really was why I kind of started my podcast, because we went through the whole recruiting process with Ty,
Mhm.
and there was just so much that we learned through that process, and still learning through
Mhm.
that process, and trying to get him to navigate to see whether or not because he says he wants to go to the next level. So now we're like, okay, what is that? What the heck does that look like, and how the heck did we get there? And so just having the relationship with you, um, and the staff at the University of Kentucky. Again, we were all in when we went to all of our visits. They told us everything that we wanted to hear as far as is what they would do for our child, and they have lived up to everything that they've said that they were going to do. And I can attest to that for our son, that you Kentucky has lived up to everything as far as our son being a student athlete at the University of Kentucky. So, hey, when you get a chance to see them, I'm not one of them parents that we're not bad mouthing the coaches. We love all the coaches that we over at the University of Kentucky, and we love Coach Merrill, and Coach Stoops, and Coach White, and Coach Buff, all of Ty's coaches. We are so grateful to them. And I ran into Mitch Barnhart, and he stopped and let me take a picture with him. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the availability that the staff over at the University of Kentucky had. There's no doubt in my mind that you all are doing everything that's possible to make these kids successful. And the ones that are not, I'm telling you right now, is because their expectation level needs to be readjusted, because your kid ain't who your kid think he is, and y'all get the whole story from the kid before y'all go cussing out all these coaches and stuff and being mad at these coaches. Who is this? Somebody said you were dope.
Thank
Casey
you.
says you were dope.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
Andrew Andrew Massey says she
I
was
miss Andrea.
watching. Thank you for watching. Lee Jackson is watching. Art Jack said that Lee Jackson is watching. So guys, so thank you everyone that came on. What did she say? African American women like you too are encouraging to other young Black females, and you are to be commended. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Listen, I hope we continue to do that. I hope that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
realize that my light being bright doesn't dim yours, and that
Absolutely.
uplift and encourage. And I really believe in reaching back and bringing someone with you. We rise by helping each other. So that's where I'm at.
Absolutely, and I definitely would love to be able to cultivate, a relationship outside. Maybe we could do a couples, dinner or lunch, since our husbands know each other, and maybe we could do a little couples thing or whatever every once in a while, when we can get into our schedules, because our schedule. When I tell you the
Listen,
Brian schedule was off the chain, our schedule was off the chain, girl.
I believe it. I believe it. And George, and we're like, he travels, I travel a lot for work. But yeah, I'm open. I'm willing and open to do that.
Good. Oh yes, because I think that was my biggest thing is cultivating the relationships. Um, with the women, especially in the sports community, because I'm so involved in the sports community. And if if there's some knowledge that I can take on with to parents that they need to understand, or if you could just answer a question every once in a while that was like, hey, I'm confused about this. How do we navigate this? And to be able to help other families. That's what I'm all about and why I created my podcast. Besides just letting people know that I'm a female football coach. I don't want to coach college, but I'm good. Any women that want to play, come play. I'm recruiting. And it is fun. And I do coach middle school. And again, my husband did me like that. He made me the first female football coach in Lexington
That's
on any
wonderful.
school. So that was pretty fun. And I definitely commend him on that. He wants me to take over, but I can't. I'll be in at the superintendent's office getting in trouble because it's dealing with the parents is hard for me. Shauna Harris has said, great conversation. Thank you for this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. I'm going to end the stream. You don't have to log off, but I just want to thank everybody. Mr. Brown, thank you coming on. Thank you, my cousin that came on. All of Tiffany's family that came on. Thank y'all all for coming on, always supporting. Thank you always for coming on and supporting me tomorrow. Oh my God, y'all, tomorrow, y'all gonna trip. I have Valerie Steele on tomorrow. So again, tomorrow night is another night. Another UK great. And then I got Kenny Walker on Wednesday, and we're gonna talk about so tomorrow we're gonna probably talk about the women's bracket. And then on Wednesday, we'll probably talk about the men's bracket. So everybody, thank you all for coming on. Go to Hits and Heels on YouTube. I think I have it up here. And go ahead and like and share, and make sure y'all share this live, because it was really, really good. So that everybody can see how dope Tiffany is. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Is it Nakia Walker? Thank you. Nakia Walker, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Massey, thank you. Thank you. And for that, that's it. Have a good day. Don't log off. Don't log off, Tiff.
Okay.